What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my public YouTube channel where I break down the occult sciences and I break them down to a very, very practical degree so that you can simply use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results with exactly what it is that I'm teaching here on my channel, simply by applying your observation and awareness. Very practical, okay? For those of you that are new, let me give you a little bit of a perspective on who I am, just so that you know who you're getting this information from, okay? My name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I am a professional occultist. I am fully initiated in the entirety of the Kabbalistic tree. I'm studied when it comes to the 22 major arcana of the tarot deck, and I'm also studied when it comes to planetary energies in direct association with astrology, okay? So what exactly are we going to be talking about in our today's video? The topic of this today's video is going to fall along the lines of magic protection, okay? I've had tons of people that have asked me this question, specifically along the lines of, what do you do to protect yourself when you're doing magic, okay? How do you protect yourself in magic? Is there certain spells or is there certain rituals? Is there certain mantras that you need to say that give you certain types of protection so that when I get into my magical practice, I don't get attacked by anything or I don't manifest something unbeneficial for myself? Okay? This is exactly what I'm going to be talking about in this today's video. If this is something that you are interested in as well, then definitely what I would recommend doing is staying tuned, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, so let's go into it. So once again, the topic, what do I do for protection? Okay, as I've mentioned in the intro, there are so many people that have asked me this question. How do you protect yourself in magic? Okay, basically there's a lot of people that are a little bit afraid, and that's completely understandable. I know for a fact, specifically when it comes to psychic self-development, there are a lot of risks within this practice. Okay, that is always going to be a fact. Now, on top of that, there also is a lot of programming that is happening, okay, on a mass collective level. So, for example, if you've ever seen a horror movie in your life that deals with spirits like Paranormal Activity, Hereditary, The Exorcist, you name it, there's tons of these movies. They portray the occult and they portray spiritual phenomena in a very, very, very in-your-face and intense way, to the degree where there's a lot of people that are actually afraid to embrace their own spiritual practices because they think something's going to just enter into their body and start possessing them, and then they're going to lose control of their life, and then everything's going to go haywire. Once again, there are for sure going to be risks when it comes to psychic development, and I am fully aware that entities, specific types of entities, can control your consciousness to a certain degree. And when I say control, I mean they can influence you to make certain types of decisions that may not be in your best interest. Okay? I'm aware that this takes place, and I'm very aware that this is a real thing, trust me. But at the end of the day, you are the source. You have full control over your own mind and over your own decisions. And truly, nothing happens for no reason. There are no mistakes whatsoever. So if you're at a point in your life where you're feeling like psychic self-development is the path that you need to go down, and that includes specific types of occult practices, then I would listen to the intuition and use fear as a compass in this case, rather than running away and just allowing mass collective programming to control your mind, to not dive in. Okay, that's my personal perspective. Now, let me give you a little bit of my experience when it comes to protection, okay? I've never, ever since my beginning practices, which pretty much started off with a little bit of spell work and then turned into heavy-duty invocation, okay? I never did anything in my personal practice that fell along the lines of needing to protect myself, okay? The way that I always perceived it, once again, is that I am the most powerful being that exists in my reality. And I always, on a subconscious level, knew I was connected to this thing that is known as the source, which literally interconnects everything. Absolutely everything. Anything you can imagine is connected to the same source, the same generator of energy. And I always knew that, but subconsciously. It wasn't always conscious to me. So I've always approached my practice knowing my true capability and knowing my true power. And with that deep knowing that I've always had, and with this approach that I've taken, I've always received wonderful results from the occult field in general, because I never allowed fear to prevent me from doing something that I knew I probably should have embraced. Okay? Now, adding to that, because of the intention and because of the mindset that I had specifically, I was able to turn experiences that may have been trying to harm me, or I have been able to turn influence, energetic influence that may not be in my best interest, to something that was positive for my life outcome, something that ended up serving me. Okay, so simply based on the perspective that I have and based on the intention that I have with my perspective, which obviously has developed throughout my life experience. This is not something I just woke up one day with. I had to go through challenges to come to this type of mindset and this belief system. But at the point that I'm at now, the point that I'm making is I'm now able to turn what you could think of as complete negative circumstances or negative experiences and then turn them or transmute them into something that is serving me or something that is benefiting me in the long run. And truly, this is not something that is unique to me. Although you listening to this, you may not have this ability yet. This is something that you have the potential to develop as well. But obviously, in order to cultivate this type of belief system and cultivate this mindset, you need to go through challenging experiences. You need to go through experiences that literally put you on that burner to the point where you realize you have nothing left to do but just surrender to the universe or surrender to the process, and then watch how the universe takes care of you as you surrender. Okay, which is obviously not a comfortable thing to do, and it's not fun to do that. But once again, this is how I was able to really ultimately cultivate this perspective and this mindset, and it serves me immensely. And in my own practice, I've never focused anything that I do specifically on needing certain protection. I've never felt like, oh, I need to protect myself. Oh, I need to make sure, you know, this is done at this specific time so that nothing harms me. And another reason why I've never done that is because I also approach the magic field in the sense of, why would I open a door to something that I feel like is going to harm me if I don't have what it takes to turn that energy into something that's ultimately going to serve me? So I always knew what I was dealing with had risk. I always knew what I was dealing with would trigger experience in my life that would be challenging. I started to really develop this awareness specifically as I got into the occult practices that I'm into. And I realized that if I'm opening the door to these energies or to these experiences, I need to be powerful enough, or I need to be wise and strong enough to transmute that, once again, into something that will serve myself. Okay, so I don't fully understand why people get so concerned and so consumed by needing all this different type of protection when they're intending on bringing a force into their life that they think is going to harm them to the point where it would completely destroy them. Okay? And typically what I've noticed is that with people that are more so concerned about, I need to do this for protection, or how can I protect myself, or what should I do to protect myself when I'm getting into rituals or when I'm getting into invocation or whatever the case is, a lot of the times that need and that want for protection is actually a deep inner fear that is just projecting itself through the lens of protection. Okay, so let me say that one more time so you can really understand what I'm saying. A lot of the times when I see people who are super concerned about protection, what that really is an inner fear that they have that is projecting outwards in the lens of that protection. So really what I'm dealing with, or what we're talking about right now, is we're talking about a very fearful entity. We're talking about a very fearful individual who's trying to get into the occult and trying to practice with specific occult arts. Now, this technically is not going to be a good formula, mixing a fearful individual with a practice where there is going to be psychic changes or subtle conscious changes. Okay, because oftentimes it's these exact types of people that bring in energies in their life, and then they think, oh no, my protection didn't work, so now I'm experiencing this in my life, and now I'm screwed, and now I don't know how to get out of it, and now I need to pay somebody thousands of dollars to help me fix my situation, when in reality, you just are lacking the awareness of how to transmute energy. You're lacking the awareness of how to turn something that is not in your best interest into something that will serve you. This is one of the ultimate powers that someone can gain, especially when it comes to the negative polarity. This is something you have to learn on the negative polarity, okay? But once again, it's actually very rare that you come across people that are going to explain this in the exact way that I am right now. You're going to go on YouTube, you're going to search it up online, you're going to read it even in books. Oftentimes you'll read it in books where people are like, this needs to be in place first. You need to have this in this specific type of direction. You need to align your circle in, the perfect configuration. And if something is off, then you're opening up a doorway for something to harm you or influence you or possess you, whatever the case is. And that is just a formula for overcomplication and a doorway for someone to say, oh, I did something wrong and now I'm being attacked, so now I'm the victim and now I don't know what to do, I don't know how to get out of it. Rather, I'm here right now and I'm telling you, as someone who is a successful occultist, professional even, I've never done that. I've never approached my practice thinking that I need huge amounts of protection to be dealing with the forces that I'm dealing with, because I always understood I am the source of how these forces are interacting with me. So even if there was another force, once again, that did not have my best interest in mind, which I have very much dealt with in my experience, I was able, based on my pure intention, based on me wanting to get to my highest evolutionary potential, and me wanting to learn the mysteries of the universe itself, on that intention alone, I'm able to turn those energies that previously were against me into energies that then serve me, turn into my power and potential. So in a more practical standpoint, this can literally manifest in the sense that, let's say I'm dealing or I'm invoking with certain types of, let's say, darker entities, and these entities truly do not want me to become more powerful than what they are. So naturally what these entities are going to do is they're going to manifest clipothic experiences in my life, which are, you could think of, dense physical experiences that also have a dense spiritual aspect to it as well, which is challenging to go through, challenging to embrace. So something might come to an end. So, I might be working on a project. That project comes to an end. Something happens, and life just orchestrates itself in such a way where there's just this adversarial energy, right? Well, in that moment, I have one choice of looking at the circumstance and saying, oh, wow, this is not fair. This obviously was triggered by the force that I was dealing with, and now I'm under attack, and oh no, I'm in a bad position. That's one way you can look at it. Now, the other way to look at it is, okay, I invited this force into my life. I understand the principle that nothing happens for no reason, and there are no mistakes under the law of the source. So I must have asked for this experience on some higher density level to come into my life to teach me how to maneuver through the experience. So rather than stopping, becoming the victim, and then scapegoating the problem and running away from my fears, I'm rather going to choose the path of, I brought this into my life for a reason, so now I'm going to force myself to learn how to maneuver through this challenge or maneuver through this adversary. Now it's that simple act of maneuvering through the adversary and learning within the challenge by being in it, dealing with those dark energies, dealing with the pain, the suffering, the isolation, the restriction, whatever the case is, however it affects you, by processing those energies, by feeling them and dealing with them, now I'm learning about the adversary. I'm learning about the experience, and I'm honestly taking its power. Because as I'm processing those energies, I'm absorbing them. I'm magnetizing them into my energy field, and I'm not allowing them to turn me into a being that says, I give up, or turn into a being that says, this is too much for me to handle, I quit, I don't want to do this anymore. Rather, I can be patient, I can observe the experience to the best of my ability, absorb the energies, and know deep down within time, the experience will sort itself, and it will ultimately increase my own power in the long run. And that is the path that I would personally choose. That is the path that I have chose in my life, and I have reaped huge amounts of rewards from this type of understanding that I'm sharing right now. Okay? So once again, when it comes to people that are super concerned about protecting themselves when they get into specific types of occult practices, specifically, if you're going to be getting into the darker arts, the black magician's path, the negative polarity, then I promise you, you are best off not even pursuing this type of pathway. You are much better off staying in your mundane lifestyle or pursuing the positive path. Okay? So that is my response to people that are super concerned about protection. The first thing that I would say is that there's something deeper inside of you that is fearful of the unknown. And that's not wrong. This is actually extremely natural. But what you're going to want to do is do more so fundamental things in the real world. We could say in the mundane world, within Malkuth. Get yourself involved in exercise. Get yourself involved with studying nutrition so that you can discipline your eating habits. Get yourself involved with different forms of meditation, like sitting in silence, or sitting within a sauna in silence, or doing different types of yoga, like hot yoga, getting involved with martial arts, things in that nature. Build up your fundamentals so that when it comes to your psychic self-development, when you make that jump into the hidden realm or into the unknown, which is reflected by your own unconscious, subconscious mind, you're not going to be setting yourself up for failure. You're going to be ready for the fight. You're going to be ready for the challenge. You're going to be ready for the adversary. I mean, this is truly the essence of the strength archetype within the tarot deck. There needs to be strength. And with that specific archetypal path on the tree, that's connected to the sphere of Gavura, which is ruled by Mars. Mars being one of the most violent, challenging, aggressive, intense spheres on the tree itself. But it's within that intensity and it's within that destructive, argumentative energy where the strength, the deep strength is developed within oneself. Because you can't develop strength when you're too comfortable or when you are being coddled to, or if you're sitting at home and you're just eating whatever you want, whenever you want, consuming whatever you want, when you want, going to your general 9-to-5 job that you're comfortable with being at long term. You are not going to be successful in this occult field, no matter what path you choose, if this is how you're living your life. So once again, there are many people that I have come across on the other side that have already been through challenges in their life. They already have the fundamental awareness that they know they need to have this warrior spirit, and they know they need to overcome adversary by fully embracing it and observing it. And these people, funny enough, never ask me about protection. They never, like when I have calls with them, one-on-one FaceTime calls, or when I hear their feedback, if we're messaging, on some other platform, whatever the case is, these individuals never ask me about what should I do to protect myself, because they already know they're protected. Their own mindset, their own philosophy, their own intention is what is protecting them. And once again, it's exactly what I'm sharing within this video. It's very, very, very important to understand, because if you're going to be jumping into the unknown and you don't know what you're getting yourself into, no matter who you are, you're going to get affected by energies that will challenge you. And once again, without the fundamentals, you will think you did something wrong. And then with that gap of what you did wrong, now you're going to play the scapegoat route. You're going to play, I'm the victim. This is what happened to me. I need help now. I'm stuck. When in reality, there is no savior that's out there for you. The only savior is yourself. You're the only person that can get yourself out of where you may have thought you trapped yourself within. Okay? So yeah, with that being said, let me also add this. Once again, the perspective that I'm sharing within this video specifically is primarily designed for the negative polarity, for people that are pursuing the path of the black magician or the negative polarity, as I mentioned. So this perspective really, what I talked about in this video is really going to apply to these individuals. You need to adopt this perspective that I'm talking about, or else you are not going to have success on this path. Now, when it comes to the positive polarity, I do want to say this. There are certain things you can do if you're a positively polarized individual that can prevent certain types of darker energies from influencing your positively polarized rituals or practices. Okay? But these things are not things that I talk about, because they're not things that I have done myself. So I really have no place or no business to be talking about, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, or, hanging up dream catchers in your room, or whatever the case is. I really have no place to really speak about that, once again, because I'm somebody who's on the negative polarized path. But I do want to make it clear that there are certain things within the positive polarity that you can do to help your polarized practices be more effective. Okay, but once again, I am not the person that you want to learn from in those regards, and I approach magic from a completely different lens, and I've received very good results from the way that I've approached it specifically. Now, let me also add this. Let me talk about the truth of protection itself. So with this mindset that I've been sharing throughout this video, there is protection that for sure comes to these types of individuals that have this perspective. And that protection, one, comes from the universe itself. You could think of it literally coming from the source itself. Once you start to realize your own power and you become more focused on your soul's evolution, there is a protection that comes to you. And that protection literally is coming from the source itself. You are in the right place at the right time. It's like you're tapped into a specific frequency where things that happen to you are not by random design. They're by a specific design that you're able to handle. And you're able to not even just handle, but understand as well and work with more effectively. But this only happens when you align yourself with that frequency of your soul's evolutionary potential, which comes through the intent. Is that what you're really intending? Are you intending doing this because you want a better image? Are you intending doing this because you want to be able to control people more and you want to, have material gain and have more money or things in that nature, have a better job position, which are not, which are not bad things, but this is all based on the intent. And if this is what your intent is more so focused on, then you're going to be missing out on some of those benefits that come from the source itself. Rather, if you can shift that intent to say, you know what, I'm going to put the physical desires to the side for a second. They're still there. I'm going to embrace them, but I'm going to put them to the side, and I'm going to be a little bit more focused on what is it that I need to do to get to my highest potential so that I can experience a satisfactory lifestyle. How can I further understand my own mind, my consciousness, understand the archetypal mind specifically? How can I learn how to maneuver through my daily life and understand what's taking place in my life experience and why I'm in the position that I'm in right now, and also where do I need to go? Okay, these are the questions that are going to get you tapped into that frequency of the source, where then you're going to get benefits, one of those benefits actually being protection. Okay, now another aspect of protection comes from simply invocation. When you do invocations of entities that are wanting you to become a part of their social memory complex, or if you're already a part of their social memory complex, these specific entities are going to help guide you throughout your evolutionary progression. And one of those ways of helping guide is to give protection to. And it's under that same principle of you tap into a certain frequency. Once again, when you're doing the invocation, you're sending out those vibrations of the entity itself, and that entity is able to come down to you. It's able to integrate its energies into you, so you're actually becoming more like it. And in return, it's making sure you're going through the right experiences that you need to be going through to get to where it is that you're headed in your near and your long-term future based on your soul's evolution. Okay, so this can also give you very large amounts of protection as well. Specifically, if you have a social memory complex that is guiding you, wanting you to get to, basically wanting you to get back to it because you're a part of it, or you're going to become a part of it, that social memory complex can actually protect you from other entities that exist in the universe, or other social memory complexes that may not have your best interest at heart. Okay? And it's that simple. And also, once again, once you start to recognize through practice itself, through trial and error, which entities you resonate with the most, which is very intuitive in nature, that is when you start to integrate the energy of that specific entity. So truly, like, when you figure out that fundamental entity that is important for you, it's very wise to spend time building up an energetic relationship with that entity. Because whenever you're doing invocation, you're integrating that entity into yourself, and you're literally becoming more like it. So obviously, the more you're opening yourself up to this specific entity that is wanting to guide you, the more power and the more protection you're gaining from it. Okay? So that's exactly what I'm going to say in these regards of, is protection necessary? Do I use protection? And do you need protection in general? Okay? If this was a video you guys, you ladies and gentlemen, I should say, enjoyed, definitely come down here and hit that thumbs up button. Okay? Because why would you not do that? Also, come down here and hit the notification bell, because I post videos as often as I can. And with content like this, you absolutely do not want to be missing out. So definitely hit that notification bell. Also, come down here and hit the subscribe button, because if you're not yet subscribed to my public YouTube channel, then you're making a very, very, very big mistake. Okay? The reason is because when you subscribe, you're further linking into the content, which will literally give you more energetic value from exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So go ahead and do so. Okay? Next thing I want to say is you have my full permission to copy and paste this link and send it out to anybody. My intention is to spread this content like a wildfire and to increase my empire in the process. That is exactly what has been taking place. So let's continue to do that. Also, come down here, super easy, right down there. This is where you can join my Instagram. Okay, you can follow me. Check me out on social media platforms. It's super easy to type in JER_477. Okay. Also, when you go into the YouTube description by clicking that little arrow drop down, you're going to see there is an area within there where you can join within a private Facebook community. Okay. You'll find the post, and then you'll see a link right below it. Just follow where that link takes you. You can request to join, and there are tons of people that are in there that are posting on a daily basis, and I'm telling you from personal experience, there is tons of valuable information that is being posted within this private Facebook community. So if you want to join it, you know exactly what to do. Okay? Now, I'm about to take your awareness to literally the most important link within the entirety of the YouTube description. It's the first link at the very top in the YouTube description. You cannot miss it. This is where you can join my Patreon. Okay? On my Patreon, I have an entire vault of exclusive occult content where none of this content is on my public YouTube channel, and that is for many, many different intentional reasons. Okay? It's not meant for the general public. It's meant for people that are investing more time and energy into themselves. Okay? So I have content that is actually very similar to videos like this, I have content in the form of live streams with it's like question answer format with tons of valuable information. And then there's content that is more so practical content, where I'm teaching fundamental practices that obviously are very valuable. And all these different forms of content are more personal and more advanced, once again, than what you're getting on my public YouTube channel, okay? As you move into tier 3 and up, you're gaining access to an entire Magick training course, which I feel like would be extremely valuable, especially if you're a beginner occultist and you're looking for a structured format to follow to start developing your psychic capabilities. Okay, then as you move into tier 4, this is the top tier of the Patreon, but this is not only just the top tier, this is the most popular tier of the Patreon as well, and that speaks for itself alone. Okay, this is what I call the Universe.B Vampire Service. Okay, so this is a service that I perform on the 29th of every single month that has one, and it's a specific advanced ritual that is designed to change your energetic structure completely to be more so what I call Universe.B dominant, which essentially means more so negatively polarized. What this does to an individual is it gives them the ability to exist within the dark energy areas of our own multiverse without inherently getting harmed by them, but rather start developing knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and power from them instead, okay? It also gives these individuals an ability to be more so receptive to their unconscious and their subconscious mind, which is feminine in nature. And it also gives them a psychic ability where they can pull in dark energy and chaos from their environments and then transmute it into their own power and evolutionary potential, okay? If this is something that you're interested in and you want to take advantage of it, definitely look into it. It is the top tier, tier number 4, first link in the YouTube description. And yes, we are doing the vampire service this month as well, okay? With that being said, I'm going to wrap it up there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a special shout out to everyone who is a Patreon member specifically for taking your knowledge, your practices, and your studies to that other side. Huge shout out to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Next thing I want to say is as we move into the second link below in the YouTube description, you can't miss it. This is where you can book your own very unique tarot card reading with me, okay? Within this tarot card reading, I can literally pinpoint exactly where you are on the Kabbalistic tree. I can tell you what you're feeling, experiencing, and going through in the present moment, as well as within your near and your long-term future, based on your positioning and travels through that Kabbalistic structure itself. I don't know anybody else that is able to do tarot card readings the way that I do it. And that is one of the values from getting a reading with me. I've done well over 650 readings at this point. I do a reading literally every single day. I've received tons of valuable feedback. If this is something you want to take advantage of as well, you know what to do. Second link below, okay? Now, also within that second link below, you can book one-on-one calls with me. So if you want to have a one-on-one hour-long video face chat, we can do so. Once again, at that second link below, you can book that, okay? Now, there's also going to be options for mentorship, 6-week mentorship or 3-month mentorship. And this is going to be for individuals that are really taking their practices a little bit more profoundly, a little bit deeper, and have more questions that they want to basically figure out, okay? So if this is something that you are resonating with and something that you would like to take advantage of, once again, that is going to be within the second link below, okay? Now, moving on to the third link below within the YouTube description, this is where you can become a YouTube member. As you become a YouTube member, you're gaining access to many different types of benefits. You enter into the YouTube community. You get special shout-outs during live streams. You have an ability to leave a question that appears in the same format as a super chat every single month. But most importantly, you're gaining access to what I call the Psychic Warfare Emoji Program, which is a sequence of emojis that I've designed myself that can be used in a certain configuration while you link in the name of a target, hit enter, and it actually causes psychic effects to that target, okay? This is the most simple form of utilizing psychic warfare through the internet platform. There are almost 2,000 posts of individuals who have taken advantage of this program. There are even individuals right now in this moment who are taking advantage of it as well. If this is something that you want to take advantage of, you know what to do. Third link below, join and become a YouTube member. and then you'll have access, okay? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you all very, very, very much, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day or night, wherever you are, and I will see you in the very near future. Peace.